Hello, what's up, Marcus Mattingly? How you doing? Welcome to Trust Me, Bro.
Hey, what's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
Doing very
Thank you.
good. Thanks for joining as a guest host tonight on Trust Me, Bro. Craig is on scene in the Big Easy. He's out in New Orleans on Bourbon Street went there for work, so out there with some work friends out, going out on the town. So thank you for jumping on as our guest host tonight, Marcus Mattingly.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So just like you did last time, I know you were a guest host with us. I don't know if that was last year or the year before. We're in season 3. This is episode 7. So I don't know if that was last year or season 2 or maybe back in season 1. But I know you've hosted the show before. So
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago.
a couple of
I
years.
think you're
Okay.
right. Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago.
All right. Well, thanks for
So,
stepping up tonight to fill in. Appreciate it, brother.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, man. It's a pleasure.
All
A lot
right.
of things happened in the NFL this week.
Yeah. It was lots of injuries, man. It's been really. Including tonight. It looks like we lost Evans tonight, hamstring, which could be, maybe relatively minor compared to what we saw Godwin go through towards the tail end of that game. I think there was I don't know, less than 2 minutes left in the game, and Godwin went down with a pretty gruesome injury. It looked like they wouldn't even show the replay on ESPN or ABC, I guess, tonight. So
Yeah, it looks like he got his leg caught, his left leg. So, yeah, it looks like Godwin's out. Uh, Evans, on the other hand, soft tissue injuries sometimes are hard to overcome, but
yep,
I could imagine him going on IR for maybe a couple weeks, a little
yeah,
rest and recovery. Get him back out there with Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's slinging that ball. I mean, I won all 4 leagues this
nice.
week.
I was just
Yeah.
about to ask you that question. So how you did
Yep.
on your
All
league?
four
So
leagues. Yep. Got
four
him.
and 0, my man. And you said
Yeah.
that's 2 weeks in a row. I know we ran into each other briefly last night. Is that
Yes. Now,
2 weeks?
yeah.
2 weeks in a row going 4-0, right?
2 weeks in a
Good
row.
man.
So, yep, one league I'm 7-0 right now. So it's
Wow,
nice.
that's fantastic, Marcus. You're
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
fire, brother.
Yeah. I'm on fire, man. Let's keep it going.
That's great. So yeah, I play in 5 leagues, and so I won 3 and lost 2. So
Okay. Well,
I'll
I
take
mean,
it.
hey, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Some
So
good. So,
yeah.
and then the other leagues I'm 5-2. And then
Okay.
in our neighborhood league, I knocked out the number two position. So
Okay. Very good.
Mr. John Smith. So got him,
John.
knocked him out.
Okay.
So
Knocking out the
yeah,
commish. I know this
yeah,
is.
yeah. You gotta keep going up the rungs. You know what I mean? Just gotta
Yeah.
keep knocking them down. Keep crawling up, man. Crawl up the
Yes.
barrel.
That's right. Every week you're putting in work, Marcus, and
Yep,
rising to the top, my man. I'm proud of you.
that's
That's
right.
great.
That's right. I appreciate it, Mark.
All
I
right,
think
so
I'm
let's.
actually beating you. Actually, I think I think we're in the middle of the pack on that one.
Yeah, on in our neighborhood league, I lost tonight, so I'm yeah, I don't know. I probably let's see. This been through 7 weeks, so I think I'm like either 3-4 or 4-3, one of the two. So yeah, not great.
Yeah, exactly. I think I caught up to you.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna roll right past me. So this being John's last year, because I think he's gonna move to Florida. So this being his last year in the league, I think he's definitely hunting for that trophy up there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in Texas though.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
hey,
So
your camera froze. Did I
oh,
freeze?
okay. Nope. No, you're still good. Yeah. It's all good. We'll keep rolling. It'll work itself out.
Okay,
You
no
can hear
worries.
me though, right? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Yep.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, hey, let's get into the folks that caught our eye on the waiver wire. Waiver wire runs tomorrow night, and so we're gonna have
I
to.
thought I thought it's Wednesday.
Yeah, so tomorrow night's Tuesday night. So yeah, it'll run, and then Wednesday morning we'll get the results. You know
Okay,
what I mean?
yeah.
So
Well, I guess yeah, based on the positions. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It's Wednesday morning that you actually the transactions actually go through middle of the night, things like that. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So what we do is we start off with quarterbacks, and then we roll through to running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defenses, and kickers. I know last time you were on the show, we didn't really cover defenses and kickers, but what I like to do is
No.
talk about some defenses to stream that are playing week offenses that could potentially score you some points. So let me start us off, and what I'll do is I'll call out my first quarterback, and then I'll bounce it over to you. If you've got a quarterback, let me know who it is, and then tell me the reason why you would pick him up. And then I've just got 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. So anyway, I'll start with my first quarterback. I put down Russell Wilson, Steelers. He's only 8% owned. In week 7, he threw for 264 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and he rushed 1 in. So he's responsible for 3 touchdowns. Russell Wilson looks like he kind of stole that job from Fields. So
Yeah, Justin Fields. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
sir.
I mean, I think Russell Wilson actually opens up the passing game for
Yeah.
Pittsburgh because Justin
Mm-hmm.
Fields is more of a running quarterback in my opinion. So I
Mm-hmm.
think, I
Agreed.
mean, again, it's the thing is when Pittsburgh picks Russell Wilson, it's got to be his team, right? You can't go back and forth. And so
Right.
you're right. I think Russell Wilson moving forward, at least as far as the options that Pittsburgh has, is going to be their quarterback moving forward.
Yep.
He did throw 2 TDs and he ran 1 in. I think he ran 1 in on the 1-yard line or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long run, but I would agree with that. And then also too, depending, I guess, on another quarterback, just depending on, I don't know what's going to happen with the Washington quarterback. You know, he went out and Marcus Mariota came in, and he actually did pretty well. Now again, he was playing against Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Carolina is like 1-5 or 1-6, nevertheless. But he looked like he was comfortable in the pocket, and you know, Marcus Mariota is a good running option too. So
And his name's Marcus.
yes, yeah, Marcus, yeah,
So you
yeah,
got to
his
support
name's
the other Marcuses, right? Your
yeah,
fellow Marcus.
exactly, yeah,
There you go.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
let me
So
look at his
Marcus is the one you
stats.
brought to the table, or which one do you want to talk about?
Yeah, Marcus Mariota, yeah.
Okay.
So he threw 2 passes,
Yep.
a little over 205 yards, and he rushed for 34 yards. So
Okay.
not bad stats. Now again, I don't know. Was it Richardson? No, not Richardson.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. That's right. Yeah, Jaden Daniels. So I don't know how bad his injury was. I don't think he might be out a week, maybe 2. But something that you know, if you need that option, Marcus might be a good one.
Yeah, coaches calling Jaden Daniels week to week. So usually when they use the words
Yeah,
week to week, that usually means they're going to be out the next week for week 8. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
When they use the day to day, that means there's a potential that they could be back, for the next coming game. But week to week means he's probably going to miss at least 1 week. So
At least,
Marcus.
probably more realistically, like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
because Washington is looking pretty good. I mean, they're strong.
Yes.
You know, they're number 1. I mean, honestly, the Washington is probably going to beat out the Eagles and the Cowboys this year.
Yeah, well, I
For
thought
the
the same thing
division.
about the Saints. After their first 2 weeks, they lost their quarterback, and then now they're bottom of the barrel. So, losing that quarterback, that really could hurt. So, but we'll see if Marcus Mariota is able to keep the boat afloat.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah,
Okay.
agreed.
So let's move
So
on. I've got another guy. Speaking of backup quarterbacks, I put down Jameis Winston, 1% owned, and so I'm giving him a 2-star rating on a out of 4 stars. So I'm giving him 2 stars. 1% owned for Jameis Winston. In week 7, he had 67 passing yards and a touchdown, and he also was responsible for a 2-point conversion. So Jameis Winston is definitely going to be the lead quarterback for the Browns moving forward. It was confirmed today that Watson has a torn Achilles, I think it was, a torn Achilles.
yes,
So
yes, it
he
was
is
a
out for the
non-contact
season.
injury. Yeah, that's
Yep.
scary. It's
Yeah. So
non-contact injury. Yeah, exactly.
correct. Yeah. So he is done for the season. So it is Jameis Winston's team moving forward for the rest of the season. So I liked him back when he played for Tampa Bay. I remember one season, Marcus, he threw 50 touchdowns and I think 50 interceptions, that
He's
season.
not
So
accurate. Yeah, exactly.
no, yeah. He likes
Yeah.
to chunk it up. But that was several years ago, Marcus. I'm talking like at least 5 or 6 years ago. So I don't know if that arm still has the strength to do 50 touchdowns or whatever, if you want to try to rationalize the rest of the games. But I don't know. But he's exciting if you still got it
Nonetheless,
in.
he will be. Yeah, nonetheless. I mean, obviously the Browns have been in a been in a rut the last few games, and so it'll be interesting to see how it's going to look like. And also, too, you got to think about the stock of the receivers, right?
Yeah,
Tillman had a good game, right?
that's
I mean,
right. Cedric Tillman.
yeah,
Yes,
Tillman
sir.
had a good game.
Hmm.
Njoku, the tight end,
Yes.
he had a really good game and a touchdown. And so it's going to be interesting moving forward how the Browns are going to look, and they're in a tough division too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they
With
do.
the
They play the
yes,
Ravens. They got
yep,
the Bengals and Steelers.
exactly, Ravens and
Yeah. So that.
Steelers, exactly, and the Ravens and the Steelers are looking pretty stout this year.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
going to be pretty difficult for the Browns to get out of that. I think they're 1-5 right now. So
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely not making the playoffs. If they, I don't think so. No, it's not going to happen.
no, no, no,
But what
unless something miraculous happens. But
Yeah, but the thing is though they're going to be down a lot in those games, so that means a lot of garbage time in the second halves of these games. We'll have Jameis Winston just throwing it up, and seeing who can get the ball. I don't know if it's we got Jerry Judy still there. Um, who else? Well,
Njoku,
Tillman.
Tillman,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we'll see.
So because they traded Amari Cooper, right,
Yep.
which is another big. That's huge. Which sort of,
Yes.
if we want to segue into receivers now, not
Yes,
Amari
please.
Cooper himself,
Sure.
but Coleman. Coleman, I
Uh-huh.
think, is going to get a lot of action because Amari Cooper is going to take a lot of that attention. And so
Correct.
Coleman, I believe, is going to be the WR2 for the Bills.
Yeah,
And he had a good game. He had a good
he
game.
did.
He's actually on the waiver wire of a couple of our leagues, and
Yeah, he's 33% owned
yeah, yeah.
on
So
Yahoo.
that's on Yahoo, but on ESPN, I think he's around sort of like the 20-30% owned. So he's out there.
Correct. Yeah, he
So
had 4 grabs on 7 targets for 125 yards.
yep,
And
no
so,
TDs, but he had a lot of yardage.
correct. But he does have to compete with Amari Cooper and then Shakira for targets. So
Yeah, Shakir. Yeah, exactly.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly. Yeah, but I think Coleman will actually be a good pickup, especially when you got somebody on a buy and you need to throw
Uh-huh.
somebody into your flex.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
he'll be
A
a good
good bye
flex
good
option.
bye week filler, and
Yeah,
hope that
good
he has a
flex
good week.
option. Yeah,
All
exactly.
right. So on the topic of wide receivers, I also put down Juan Jennings. Plays for the
He's with
49ers.
Tampa. He's 49ers. Yes. Okay.
Correct. Plays for the 49ers. I gave him 3 stars out of 4. He's
Okay.
30% owned. Back in week 3, he had 11 grabs on a dozen targets for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that was a game, Marcus, when Ayuk and Debo were both out. And I think Kittle was even out. And so it was pretty much all Ayuk and whoever else they had. And so he had a killer game. And so the reason why I brought his name up is because he was out this past week, but he's projected to be back for week 8. And Ayuk just went on IR
Yep.
with an I think ACL. And
Yep. And
so
Debo's down too.
Debo's down, and I think Kittle has an ankle. And so right there is the same perfect storm that we saw in week 3. And so Juan Jennings, 30% owned on the Yahoo side. So it means he's out there on 70% of leagues. So he is definitely a name to target to look for a repeat performance of week 3 against the Cowboys this coming Sunday night.
That's right. We got the
Cowboys
49ers.
have a rather depleted defense. Their defense is hurting. We both know. With
Yep.
Parsons
Michael
being out,
Parsons.
and
Yep.
yep, yep.
And
So,
then yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
any other wide receivers, Marcus?
Actually, Bateman. He had
Yes,
a
sir.
great night tonight.
Oh yeah.
Bateman, for the Ravens. So he's another receiver that's out there. Zay Flowers was a little slow because he was fighting some injuries.
Hmm.
And Bateman was the I wouldn't well I guess Bateman and Andrews, but I think Bateman was the number one target tonight
Yeah, I think Flowers got
for
a little
Lamar
banged up
Jackson.
tonight too. Did you see that? It looks like he took a big shot. So I don't know
He
if he
did.
got hurt on that or what, but
Well, I think he twisted or he got his foot stuck or something like that. Just
mhm.
how they get that awkward twist when they get tackled or whatnot. I think it was in
Yep,
the first quarter for Zay Flowers,
right.
which was good for me and bad. it's sort of conflicting when I'm playing Zay Flowers, but I'm playing against him in another league.
I hate that.
I want Zay Flower to go off because he can. Because last week he went for 132 yards, I think on 7 or 8 catches. So I mean, he has the ability and the breakout speed and yards after carry or catch rather, to do that. So, but Bateman, Zay Flowers was a little hurt. You could tell he was a little slower, and Bateman had a breakout performance. So that's somebody.
Yeah.
Now,
Somebody
as
to
far as
target.
the percent, yeah, exactly. Now, as far as percentage owned, I looked in all 4 of my leagues. Bateman is available in all of them.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
percentage overall, I didn't look at. Let me
let me
look real
look.
fast.
He's 17% rostered, Marcus, on the Yahoo side. That means he's available in 83% of the leagues.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
widely available. So I think he'll be a popular waiver wire target at this upcoming waiver wire period. And so, and then another name to keep an eye on, speaking of the 49ers, I know we already covered Juan Jennings, but Ricky Pearsall, he's the guy that took a shot. I think somebody shot him in the chest before
It's the
the
rookie.
beginning of the season. Remember that guy?
Yeah,
He
the
took a shot.
rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he's supposedly been cleared, and he will be playing in week 8 against the Cowboys. So with them losing all these wide receivers, so if you can't get Juan Jennings and you want to take a flyer on Ricky Pearsall, that might be another name to keep tabs on, my man.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so
No,
I've got
I'm doing pretty good on my rosters. I don't want to make too many changes, but I'm looking to pick up, definitely Coleman, Bateman, or Juan Jennings.
Yep. Yeah, very good. And then I've got one
So,
more wide receiver to talk about before we walk away from wide receivers. It's Romeo Dubs, plays for the
oh,
Packers.
Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay.
And I gave him 1 star, 1 star out of 4, simply because they like to spread the ball around a lot in Green Bay, and so it just
Yes.
happened to be a Dubs game in Week 7. He caught 8 of 9, or I'm sorry, he caught 8 of 10 targets for 94 yards. So he had a good game.
Yeah, definitely good production.
Yeah,
But you're right, though. I mean, they do have a lot of other receivers. Wicks. So it's really hit or miss. Sort of like a
yeah,
shared backfield. It's
right.
really hard to understand where Love is going to, focus his targets on week by
Hmm.
week basis. But
Yep.
but
And
but
I know that
again,
he was complaining a lot. I think he got suspended 1 game by the team because he didn't show up for practice for a couple of games. He had a bad attitude, and so I think he got kind of
Dubs.
the squeaky wheel treatment in this past game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I'm
All
trying
right.
to think who's that other receiver for Green Bay.
Reed, Jaden Reed.
Reed. Jaden
He,
Reed.
he's the
Yes.
alpha in my opinion. He's the number 1. Reed.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. But he'll have a hit or miss week. I think this week
Uh huh.
he didn't do too well.
True.
But the week before he did very well. Which
Yeah.
I have him rostered in one of my leagues, but I don't.
Yeah.
I believe I did play him. Yeah, and he only got 3 points, 2 receptions for 10 yards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So it was a
but
Dubs game this past one. So
yeah, exactly.
and
That's
I
where it
had
is.
Christian Watson. I had Christian Watson going in 1 or maybe 2 leagues, and that didn't quite work out. He barely got anything yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and also too, it was a Josh Jacobs show
Mm-hmm.
over there at Green Bay.
Yeah. True. Very much,
I mean,
very much
yeah,
so. I think he caught his first receiving touchdown at Lambeau.
yeah,
Did the Lambeau leap? Exciting.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
So,
that's it.
all right.
That's it for wide receivers. Let's go to running backs. What running backs caught your eye this weekend that are under 70% owned out there on the waiver wire?
I
People
want
can
to
pick up.
say, let me, um, give me one sec. I just wanted to double check the waiver wire. Give me one
Hey,
second.
while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and tell you my first guy. It's Tank Bigsby. He plays for the Jags.
Jacksonville.
And so,
Yep.
yeah, so I saw him. I got up early on a Sunday. I was watching the game in bed, 8:30 in the morning, and Tank Bigsby, Etienne was out, and so he was hurt. He didn't play. So Tank had the rock to himself. He's 67% owned. I gave him 3 out of 4 stars. Tank Bigsby looks like the man. He's been around on that team for a while, on at least a full year last year. So this is his second year, I believe, maybe third year, but at least second. Anyway, he got 26 carries for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he had a really good week over in London. Looked great.
But what's the percentage of roster on him?
67%.
67% rostered.
Yes. So
Yes.
what I'm looking for are folks that are 70% or under. So he's out
70% under.
33%. Okay. So he's out there, available 33% of the leagues.
Yeah.
So
I did say, well, Rashid Wright doesn't hit your stat. He's 84% rostered. It's close, but he had a really good game tonight.
Well, what's the
and
guy's
quite
name?
On Rashid Wright.
Oh,
White.
White.
At Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
at Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a couple touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns. Now he is rostered a little at 84%. But if he's out there in your leagues, considering the wide receiver depletion tonight, right?
Yeah.
You got Evans, as well as Godwin. You could see Baker Mayfield going, checking down to his tight end, Ottman, which I know we're going to tight ends. He's on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Ottman's definitely available in a lot of the leagues, and I'll look back at the percentages, but Ottman almost had over 100 yards.
Yeah, he had a great
Rashid
game.
White, had a great game. Rashid Wright had 71 yards and 2 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. So again, moving forward, I think Tampa Bay is still a very strong offense. They're going to just have to, sort of adjust and recalibrate how they're going to, spread that passing offense. So.
Yes, sir, Marcus. I think a lot of people dropped White because he had been out. I don't know if he was hurt or what, but I think that Bucky Irving, kind of became the hot item over there in Tampa Bay. It's interesting that a guy named Bucky plays for the Bucks. Perfect fit, right?
Yeah. Well, it's his nickname. That's his nickname.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Right.
Yeah, it's his nickname. Yeah.
And so Bucky was a favorite of folks to pick up, off the waiver wire. So, but you're right. White is very still much in play when it comes to the backfield in Tampa.
Agree. Yeah, especially in the passing game. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, which they're going to need. Anybody else on the running back side? I've got one more if you don't have anything.
I got Madison for the Raiders.
Yep, same here.
Okay, but the thing is, though, with the Raiders offense, very slow, right? I mean, they're just, you really don't want to get behind. Again, it's good to maybe stash them on your bench if you have a deep bench. Maybe put him on a flex somewhere. He does get looks on the passing game. He does get some rush yards. I don't know. You can tell me his stats, but I would say Madison is definitely a pickup if you have room on your bench.
Yeah, he's 54% owned. Week 7, he carried the rock 23 times for 92 yards, caught 3 out of 3 targets for 31 yards, and so overall it was over 100 yards in all purpose yards. Didn't score a touchdown, but had a solid game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even though I don't even remember the Raiders game, I just know they got blown out, so they're not looking too good this year. I
give him 1 star. 1 out of 4 stars.
1 out of 4. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. I'm fresh out of running backs. So we've covered the running backs. We've covered the wide receivers. We've covered the quarterbacks. Let's move over to tight ends. What's a tight end that you would take a look at? It has 70% ownership or less, or maybe somewhere hovering around that 70%.
I would say Otten, Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Let me look real fast.
Cade Otten, right? That's the guy you're talking about?
Yes, okay. Tampa Bay. Yep.
Yeah, he had a good game tonight, right?
He had a really good game tonight. Let me look real fast. He is 30% rostered right now.
Wow, look at that.
Yes, 30% rostered on Yahoo. He's obviously out there in the ESPN apps, but he didn't have a touchdown. Now he got some pretty big hits. He got hit pretty good, so he's gonna have some bumps and bruises.
Yeah,
but I think he got hit pretty good in doing those seams in the middle of the field. With the Ravens D. But nevertheless, though, moving forward, as I said, earlier, the receiving crew got diminished with Godwin and Evans being out. So next week, in the following week, I can see Oddman's share of targets going up.
Sure.
And so he had, let's look here real fast. So tonight he had 8 receptions, 8 receptions, 100 reception yards on 10 targets.
Wow. That's
Okay,
great.
that's awesome. And then
Yeah.
now consider what it's going to look like moving forward. So
Yeah.
I would say Cade Otton would be a good pickup if you
Yeah.
need a tight end.
Totally agree. Yeah. I know that the tight end position has been a barren wasteland for most seasons, and especially this season. There's usually like 5 names that you can count on, and the rest are kind of, you know, spin the wheel and see who's going to do well this week. So, yeah,
Agreed.
you're
Which
right.
I played
It could be.
Otton. Yeah, I played Otton this week in one of my leagues.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
So you were all over him, huh? And you lucked out tonight with a great game.
I picked him up. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. I picked him
Good,
up. Yep.
good
I
play.
dropped. Yep, exactly. But anyways, he was definitely a good addition, and so I'm going to be looking for him on other leagues.
Yep. Very good. All right. So I've got Cole Kmet written down. Plays for the
Okay.
Bears.
The
He was
Bears.
on bye week 7.
The Bears.
In week 6, he's 68% owned, and so I'm giving him 2 out of 4 stars for Cole Kmet. I call him Kermit. Week 6, he had 5 grabs on 5 targets for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's another guy that Caleb Williams is really using as a security blanket. So Caleb Williams is really relying upon him, and to get him out of jams. I think he might even be Caleb's first read. It kind of seemed like, at least when they were playing in London.
Or even in the red zone. He's a big target.
Yes,
He's
red zone.
huge.
Yeah,
He's a
absolutely.
red zone target. Absolutely.
He's a lot like Cade Otton, isn't he?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
6'5" plus, good size,
Mm-hmm.
good mobility, great hands, right?
Yep.
And so, yes, commit. I have him actually rostered in one of my leagues. And
Nice.
so I think he's ranked number 4 overall as far
Great.
as fantasy football points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's doing very well for the
Very
Bears.
good. All right. You
So,
got any other
agreed.
tight ends?
I would agree with that. No,
Okay.
that's all the tight ends I have.
Okay. I've got
Because you're
one.
right, it's sort of a hit or miss.
Yeah.
And I think likely with the Ravens, I think his stock is going down. Andrews has back-to-back touchdowns.
Right.
So because likely, I think he had a blowout. He had a blowout game. I think week 2
1.
or week
Week
1.
1.
Yeah,
Week
week
1.
1.
Week 1 was his big coming out party, but he's kind of fizzled
It's
out
been
ever
quiet.
since.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been real quiet. It's been
Right.
in the last few weeks.
Okay.
So
I got one more tight end. He's been on IR all season. His name's T.J. Hawkinson. He plays for the Vikings.
yeah,
He's a great tight end. He's only 71% owned, so he's 1 point over the 70% threshold. So he's out there in 29% of leagues. He may come off IR and play this coming Thursday night. So if you really need a tight end and he's out there in one of your leagues, you can take a chance on T.J. Hawkinson. He was great last season. He was the number 1 tight end last season before he got hurt.
Yeah, agree. So, yeah. And the Vikings are on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Vikings are on fire. I mean, they had a tough loss today with Detroit, or yesterday from Detroit, but I can see the Vikings going pretty far and doing very well.
Yeah, them and the Lions, those are both really hot teams in the NFC.
Yeah, North. Yep.
All right, well, that's good. All right, so that's it for tight ends. I'm gonna just kind of roll through before I roll through the defenses. Do you have any specific? So what's your strategy, Marcus, for defenses? Do you grab a solid defense like the 49ers or the Vikings or Jets or something like that, and just kind of stick with that same defense week in, week out, or do you kind of like in and out of defenses, like toilet paper, and just use them for 1 week and dump them out?
Sure. It depends. It depends. In one league, I've sort of clinged on to the Denver D.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Yep,
I
done
got them in
very
2
well.
leagues myself. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I got the Denver D. So, and then in another league, yes, I sort of look at what's going to be the best sort of matchup.
Matchups. Yep.
Matchup with the D. And so now I do keep, and I do have the Seahawks D. Seahawks D, I got them on my bench in one league. They actually did pretty well.
Yeah.
So, but
You do a hybrid approach, right? So if you got a really
yeah,
good
it
D, you'll stick
depends.
with them for a few weeks and see how it goes. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And another league, I never started with a good D, and I pretty much look at the matchups week to week.
Yep. Got it.
And then if I see a D that's riding the wave, then I'll hold on to them for at least a few weeks until a matchup goes bad. Like they'll go against the Ravens or Kansas City
Chiefs. Yeah. Yeah.
or something like that. Something
Right.
ridiculous where it's just inconceivable for them to get a low scoring game, right? Um, so like for instance, in the Yahoo League, let me see here. I think I picked them up. Oh no, it's the Denver D. I played them against the
Yep.
Saints.
Me
So
too, man. I played Denver D in 2 out of 5 leagues, and they were great. They got me
yeah,
21 and 22 points among those 2 leagues.
yep.
Last
I got
Thursday night, they had a
23
great
in our
game.
neighborhood league. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
exactly.
They were good.
6 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries,
And a touchdown.
a touchdown, low points.
Yes.
So it was really solid defense. And then, so yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to see. Let me see who I played on the other. But anyways, but yes, but ultimately it's a hybrid, depending on the situational awareness.
Okay. So this weekend, the Broncos face the Panthers. And I give them 3 out of 4 stars as far as the Broncos. The Panthers are really bad. And so I think that the Broncos are going to continue to do well. I'm going to stick with the Broncos in the 2 leagues I've got them. Same
Agree.
for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm running the Broncos. Yeah, absolutely.
Same here. All right, so I'm going
Yeah.
to keep them in those 2 leagues. Other defenses to keep an eye on. The Ravens, they got the Browns coming to town. We already talked about Jameis Winston with his 50 INTs, a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
So that might be a good opportunity, even though they do have Chubb back. So
They do have Chubb, and he scored
yeah,
a touchdown this week. His first
right.
touchdown since his big injury last year.
So a bit of a caution flag there with Chubb being back, but I still think that the Ravens D will do pretty good. They look great tonight.
They did. But again, they gave up 31 points to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that's true. They are
Yeah.
susceptible to letting
Yes.
some points up. You're right.
Exactly.
So yeah, so
Exactly.
I'd say 1 star out of 4 on Ravens D.
Yes. And
Okay.
then keep in mind, it looked like the Browns defense was sort of clicking this week.
Mm-hmm. That's true. They do have a
Right?
historically good defense.
They do.
Absolutely.
They do. Yeah, exactly. So I think because that's a divisional matchup. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean I think it's I mean you're right. I mean the Ravens they have too many weapons and most likely they'll have a lot of offensive snaps and they'll control the clock, right? But don't let the Browns don't sleep on them is what I'm trying to say.
It might be, I'd say like 41 points by the Ravens and 21 or maybe 20 for the Browns is what I'm
Yes.
predicting in
Yes.
that game.
Yes. Which the
Ravens are going to kill
Ravens, and then if the Ravens don't get a TD on defense or special teams, then that won't be too good for their defense points as far as,
them. Agreed. All right, so rapid fire on a couple of these others. Lions, they got the Titans coming to town. Easy to pick on the Titans. I'm giving them 2 out of 4 stars.
Okay.
The Chiefs defense against the Raiders. Raiders are terrible. They're back to Minshew mania, and
Yeah.
they just lost Devontae Adams to the Jets,
Yep.
so they don't have their big wide receiver anymore. Their tight ends looking really good on the Raiders.
That's
Bowers,
that rookie
he's
Bowers.
solid, really solid. I've got him in 2 leagues, and I love him. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
that's about.
he's that safety blanket for Minshew.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And then,
Yeah.
so yeah, Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to dominate the Raiders. The Chiefs defense has been, I think, the reason why they're undefeated. They're the only undefeated NFL team right now, and I think their defense is a lot of that, has a lot to account for that success. I think. And
Agreed.
then,
Yeah. Agreed.
and other than that, the
Chris Jones
Jets.
is the heart of that defense.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's a maniac. Yeah.
Didn't he kind of like hold out? I think he like held out all through training camp, and then he just decided to get signed. I don't know, the day before the first game of the season, and came up there and it's just been insane. Really great
I
offense.
don't know the entire sort of story, but something along those lines. Yeah, I
Yep.
think so.
So yeah, Chiefs D against the Raiders, 3 stars. Jets D against the Patriots, 1 star, because the Jets D was really disappointing. I thought they were going to do really well against the Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
Do-
Yeah,
Donald Trump was at that game. The Pittsburgh Steelers came out to play last night, and they dominated the Jets. They
yeah,
destroyed them. And so that's why I'm a little leery. Even if they're playing the Patriots, who's playing that rookie quarterback, I'm only going to give him 1 star for Jets D. I don't know. I don't know. I won't play him myself, but I think if you're hard up for a defense and that's all you got, I mean, it wouldn't be. You could do worse that way.
yeah, yeah. Also, too, yeah, exactly. And I'd be careful with that New England running back,
Hmm.
Hasty.
Yeah, true. Mikal
He had a good
Hasty,
game.
Michael
Yeah,
Hasty, I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That
you're
might be
right.
another running back we want to put on the list.
Yeah, we'll keep an
Mr.
eye on him.
Stevenson, it's been a little slow. He's coming off an injury, and
Yeah,
Hasty did a really good job. Took a
yeah,
lot
you're
of
right.
the production. So
And everybody was kind of looking at Antonio
Gibson,
Gibson. Yeah, and everybody kind of thought that would be the guy, but it looks like it was Hasty
no,
who came
it
in
was
there and
Hasty.
stole the show, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
And then the
exactly.
last defense that I've got my eye on is the Chargers. They look pretty decent tonight because they did hold the Cardinals to not a lot of points. I think they held the Cardinals to under 20, didn't they? And then they got the Saints coming. So they're playing the Saints next. The Saints are a mess right now, and so that's why I think the Chargers D might be pretty good against the Saints. 2 stars out of 4.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, what's that one receiver from the Saints if he doesn't come back? But also too, Derek Carr. When is he coming back?
Not yet. I don't think he's going to throw tomorrow on Tuesday, but they're not sure. I don't think he's quite ready. I don't think he'll be
He's,
back. But if Carr does play, then all bets are off on Chargers D. I'd look elsewhere, but I don't think
yeah,
he's going to play.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So that's it for defenses, and then for kickers. So there's 2 guys that I wanted to mention tonight, Marcus. One is Boswell. He's the kicker for the
Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Yep.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's a boss. He's playing well. Boswell. Anyway, he's the best kicker in the NFL right now when it comes to fantasy points. He's lighting it up. He's doing amazing. I've got him on at least one team. So yeah, and he's only like I don't know, like 40-something%. He's not widely owned. Like most people are still going with Tucker and these others. I mean, Tucker is not that great of a fantasy kicker. He's like probably like not even in the top 12 now. So go look for
Yeah.
Boswell if he's out there.
Okay. You know who I like? Is the kicker for the Minnesota Vikings, the
Uh huh.
rookie Will Richard. He
Yes.
is right now rostered only in one of the ESPN leagues, only rostered 17%.
Okay.
And this kid has he's ranked 7th, and he hasn't missed one field goal the entire year.
That's
So
great.
yes, and the
And he's
Vikings are
seventh.
very
Okay. So
yep, and the Vikings are a very what's the word I'm looking for? Exciting offense,
yeah.
right? They're
Right. Right.
I mean, again, they lost to the Detroit Lions, but it was at the very end. And also, to another kicker is the Detroit Lions kicker, who's
Hmm.
another rookie, who was I was watching a story on him. He was selling bricks in Houston just a few months ago,
Really.
and now he's kicking for the Detroit Lions, which he kicked that 44-yard walk off kick,
To
against the
beat the
Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
and that's his name is Bates. So
Okay.
I'd look out for him too.
All right.
I don't think he's had a lot of. Let me look if he's what's his percentage of roster real fast. But
Okay.
I would
Well,
say. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, while you're checking that, I'll go ahead and say my other guy was a Seabird. He plays for the Cardinals, or no, sorry, not Cardinals, the Commanders. So he's on that exciting team
Oh, yeah,
with
exactly.
Jaden Daniels. He's been getting a ton of opportunities. He's the second best kicker in fantasy football right now, right behind Boswell. So Seabird with the Commanders.
For
If
the
you find him
Commanders,
out
yeah,
there,
for Washington,
grab him.
yeah, yeah. And so it's like those 4 teams right now, they're on fire.
Yep.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Detroit, Minnesota,
Mhm.
and then what do we say? I say Pittsburgh, Commanders, Detroit Lions. I mean,
Yes.
you really, at the end of the day, those 4 teams. If you can find somebody's on those teams, defenses, kickers, most of their star players are already rostered, so you're not going to get too much opportunity with those players. But
Yeah.
I'll say though, those 2 kickers, they're looking really nice right now.
Yeah. Well,
On
I'm
top
glad.
of your 2 kickers too, the
Yeah. Yeah.
Commanders are doing really well, and
hmm
Pittsburgh's doing really
Pittsburgh.
well. I think, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the thing I like about the Pittsburgh is a lot of times that they crumble in the red zone. So they get in the red zone a lot, but a lot of times they don't score touchdowns in the red zone. So that's when you want a team that in that situation to have their kicker, because they'll get you a lot of kicker opportunities. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Which I was hoping for the Ravens tonight with Justin Tucker. But
Oh yeah. I mean, I know you like Tucker. I do too. I mean, he's been historically the best kicker in fantasy football for all these years. But I just think it's time to turn the page and go with these other guys, like the Pittsburgh kicker and the Commanders kicker, because those are the guys. Because if your kicker's not getting you double-digit points every single week, then he's got to go. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean? If you're not giving me at least
yeah,
10 or more every week, then I'm looking for another kicker. I'm always looking for another kicker because I expect.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Justin Tucker got me 13
Yeah.
in our
He's been
in our
turning it on
game.
lately. He's had a slow start, but he's been pretty good
Yeah,
lately. You're right. I've got him
yeah,
in one league
yeah.
too, and I was about to cut him, but I decided to give him another chance. And he's been doing pretty good lately. So yeah, hang on to Tucker for now. But he had a slow start. So
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
okay.
Agreed. So,
All right. Well, that's
all
it,
right,
man. I
cool.
think we covered all the positions that we could potentially talk about. I mean, we're not an IDP league, guys, so no reason to talk about individual defensive players. But I think we did a good job of, identifying, what talent is out there on the waiver wire now, and everybody could go out there and get their selections in tomorrow night, and hope to wake up on
Hey,
Wednesday
yeah,
morning with some nice players in your basket.
exactly. Agreed.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck out there, everybody.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Well,
So,
thank you so much, Marcus. I appreciate
hey,
you joining the show tonight. Thank you.
hey, thanks for having me, Mark. Have a good night.
You too, brother.